Welcome to Cheating Secrets, where every story hides a truth. Let's begin. I never thought a single sentence could unravel everything I believed about my marriage. That evening, when I walked into the living room, I expected the usual sounds of home, the soft chatter, the gentle clinking of dishes being put away, the quiet rhythm of our shared routine, but instead, I was greeted by words that cut through the calm like a blade through silk. She looked straight at me, her face unreadable, and said softly yet firmly, "I don't need intimacy with you anymore." The words didn't just echo, they lingered, sharp and deliberate, as though she had rehearsed them for maximum impact. I didn't speak. I didn't question. I didn't plead. I let the silence stretch, allowing her words to settle in the room like heavy smoke. For a moment, the air turned colder, the light dimmer, and every shadow seemed longer than before. My mind replayed every attempt I'd made to close the emotional distance between us. The subtle ways she'd pulled away, the lack of eye contact, the half-hearted smiles, the laughter that never reached her eyes. I had seen the signs, but hearing it spoken aloud turned doubt into reality. The life we had built suddenly felt fragile, like glass on the edge of breaking. Instead of confronting her, I chose silence. I quietly stepped out of the house, pretending I just needed some air. Outside, the city lights offered a strange comfort, something steady and impersonal that didn't ask for anything in return. As I walked aimlessly, I realized that silence wasn't surrender. It was its own kind of message, not a retreat, but a quiet acknowledgement that some things, once broken, can't be fixed by explanations or apologies. That night, I didn't call her. I didn't text. I gave space to the silence, the same space she had taken from our intimacy. A full week passed before we spoke again. During those 7 days, I moved through my routines as though nothing had changed. The world kept spinning. People kept talking, but inside, something had shifted. The initial sting of her words began to fade, replaced by an unfamiliar calm. I finally understood that her rejection of closeness wasn't about my worth. It was about her disconnection from herself. On the 7th day, she finally reached out. Her message was short, tentative. "Can we talk?" There was hesitation behind those words, an unspoken awareness that something fundamental between us had changed. But I didn't respond right away. I let the text sit there, a silent reminder that not everything deserved an immediate answer. When I finally replied, it was brief and honest. "We need to be truthful about what we really want. I can't create connection where it doesn't exist." Later, when we met, I noticed everything, the nervous flicker in her eyes, the pauses where laughter used to be, the unease that filled the spaces once occupied by comfort. The warmth between us had turned into something delicate and distant, like a glass wall neither of us could cross. Through it all, I stayed calm. I didn't raise my voice or try to win her back. I simply observed, steady and composed, the stillness of my demeanor highlighting the turmoil inside her. Her regret showed not in her words, but in her silences. She tried to explain, her voice trembling as she searched for reasons, excuses, anything to justify the walls she'd built. I listened, but my mind was detached. I wasn't there to debate or change her feelings. I was there to see the truth for what it was, a love that had already died, and a man who chose dignity over desperation. My absence, it seemed, had done what arguments never could. The version of me who once begged, pleaded, and tried to fix everything was gone. In his place stood someone who understood his own worth, someone who no longer fought to be needed. She looked at me then, a mix of regret and disbelief in her eyes. It wasn't a victory for me. It was simply clarity, a mirror showing her what she had taken for granted. When our conversation ended, nothing was resolved, yet everything was different. I walked away with the same calm I'd carried all week, knowing that some lessons are only learned through absence, and some bridges can never be rebuilt once their foundation crumbles. Her realization would come later, but mine had already arrived. As I returned to my quiet life, I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. Silence had become my companion, distance my teacher, and dignity my greatest reward. She would remember the week I let go, not with anger, but with the truth that some things, once broken, are never meant to be repaired. And in that stillness, I found freedom.